Kodo and Podo. My friends.
Travel back in time to the 80s, reliving the music.
You can't have the Pretenders' first album. That's mine.
I bought it.
You did not.
The catchphrases.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
And the wannabes.
Sometimes I see you dance around the house in my underwear. Doesn't make me Madonna. Never will.
Because just like you, we're stuck in the 80s.
Can you say stuck in the 80s?
Don't move. The beast is fierce. But if we show no fear, we might escape.
What? Spearsy, why are you hugging me? Why in God's name are you wearing a loincloth?
We must show him who's in command.
Who is in command? What beast are you talking about? Your dog Benji? He's over there on the carpet with his back waiting for a tummy rub.
You owe me your life, but I'll accept this as payment.
Easy there. You're quoting Beastmaster, aren't you? And don't you dare try to kiss me. Here, just take this glass of whiskey as payment. Ugh, you're so sweaty.
I am Dar. My village, Emer, was destroyed by the Jund Horde.
No, you're Spearsy. You're king of the dipshits, and your village of Castleberry can't be destroyed because it has the only Wawa store in existence that still sells Mickey's malt liquor in the big mouth jars.
You would do well to join me and my friends and follow the Junds. With them, you can die like a man. Not so with the priests of R.
Your friends? And now you're quoting Tanya Roberts lines? Good God, help me. If you start trying to show me your Kodo and Podo, this show is over. Just cue the music.
Hey, welcome to Stuck in the 80s. It's your old pal, Spearsy.
And Brad in the Jungle.
And today, we venture back to ancient times and rediscover some prehistoric cheese by the name of Beastmaster.
I wants this stranger. Bring him to me, this master of the beasts.
Stuck in the 80s is sponsored by...
Why are you stopping?
I just wanted to see if you were going to try and squeeze in more references to either the Star Trek cruise or your pet ferrets.
Kodo and Podo? No, I'm good. Please continue.
Stuck in the 80s is sponsored by the 80s Cruise. Join Stuck in the 80s in 2023 for a week-long trip back into time on board the Royal Caribbean Navigator of the Seas. Performers will include Devo, Brett Michaels, Kim Wilde, The Church, Howard Jones, Living Color, Jody Watley, The Smithereens with guest vocalist Marshall Crenshaw, all downhill from here, Vixen, Cutting Crew, Midyear, Autograph, Tone Loc, and more. And first-time guests can get not $100, not $150, $200 of cabin credit just by using the promo code STUCKINBOOKING. That's STUCK. You spell it, you get it. Just go to www.the80scruise.com for more information.
What happened here today must never be known. Never. You have powers unlike anyone in the village. To touch a beast up here?
Greetings, my excellent friends. Sorry for the long delay between podcasts, but Brad and I were busy fighting evil in another dimension.
Yeah, the dimension of timesheets and expense reports. Now you're trying to quote from The Last Starfighter, and I'm not having it.
I can go back to Star Trek if you want.
No, I'm good.
By the way, totally unrelated, but I was rewatching the beginning of this movie just a few minutes ago, which, we played the beginning music at the beginning of the show. It sounds way too much like the theme to Battlestar Galactica, don't you think?
Well, you know what they say. Good composers borrow. Great composers steal.
See? I
has spoken. He wants your children.
Yeah, well, it was a more innocent time when we could have pet ferrets and name them practically the same thing for no reason whatsoever.
I'm gonna name you Kodo. You get a name too, Podo.
Anyway, here's the point. So a few months ago, or so it seems, or so it feels like, I guess.
It does, yeah. A lot's gone down. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Brad and I agreed that we needed to make a 40th anniversary tribute to Beastmaster, but every week we punt and we do another topic instead. But this week I said, that's it. I'm prepared to do a show on nothing else, really. So
Really?
let's kneel over, squat, and out comes Beastmaster.
Oh, come on. I think you're damning it a little too harshly there. It's a great movie. It's not going to change your life, but it's fun.
Here's the thing. I'm on Facebook still, but you're not, right?
Yeah, I have an account, but I don't really go there.
Right. So anyone who tries to message you on Facebook is pretty much wasting their time,
They're
correct?
basically yelling into the garbage can that is social media.
So you know how Facebook gives you like your Facebook memories, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
There was a period of time where, for some reason, I was constantly posting quotes and photos from Beastmaster because I was rewatching it.
Okay.
And so there was a time in Stuck in the 80s history when I wanted nothing more than to do a podcast about Beastmaster, but when I tried to watch it again this time, now keep in mind, we just had our 17th birthday, the podcast.
Oh, our podcast is going to be working on its college application soon.
We got no birthday cards, but that's okay.
That's all right.
So 17 years of doing Stuck in the 80s, I'm trying to watch Beastmaster, and it's just not taking. It's like it's just not assimilating. I'm trying to watch it. I'm trying to watch it in 10-minute chunks. I can't make it 10 minutes in. I'm trying to remember what it was I loved about it the first time, and like it's coming to me, but it's not coming to me. I don't know what's changed over the last 17 years. I would have killed to do a podcast about this in 2005. But I had a hard time, and that's kind of why it's taken us this long to do this show.
It checks out. Also, gentle listeners, I had some family stuff going on, so that's why production has been a little slower lately. But.
Right. We did a lot of interview shows lately.
Yeah.
A couple more coming up. Some more authors, I think. I just finished a really good book set in Central Florida in the 80s, so that'll be fun to talk about.
You can read.
I read on a Kindle now before bed.
Yeah.
It's
you start doing that and you'll never be able to pick up a book again. Because you're like, what is this heavy paper thing?
And the weird thing is, it's like, so once upon a time in my Stuck in the 80s life, my usual nighttime activity was to drink until I don't remember what's going on, and then I wake up and it's morning. It's like Groundhog's Day every day.
And he's texted me 17 strange things.
Yeah. But nowadays, more likely than not, I'm going to read a 80s book or a book about the 80s on my Kindle for an hour before going to bed. So anyway, this has nothing to do with Beastmaster.
It's just Beastmaster adjacent, like most of the stuff we're going to say today.
Yeah, this is more interesting than the stuff we're going to say about Beastmaster, I'm afraid. Let's get started. Let's talk about the plot. I've tried to boil this down as much as I can. Ready?
Hit me.
It's actually The Beastmaster, not Scorpions.
Not
The Beastmaster.
Eurythmics.
We're so stuck on that. It's ridiculous. We're going to do a coffee table book one year. It's just going to be
it's going to be like two-sided. Like if you turn it upside down, it's the bands that start with a V, and you turn it the other way, it's
yes.
start with a V. Oh, I'll get on the horn of the publishers.
So on one side, it'll be The Beastmaster, and we will say about it, it's a 1982 sword and sorcery film, which, by the way, is just a great genre name, sword and sorcery.
It really is, and it speaks to 15-year-old Brad.
Life is a circle. I'm sure we'll see each other again.
It has Mark Singer, Tanya Roberts, John Amos, Rip Torn, loosely based on the 1959 novel The Beastmaster, 2 words instead of 1.
Oh, I see what they did there.
By Andre Norton. It's a film about a man who can communicate with animals and who fights with an evil wizard and his army.
Here's some trivia for you. Andre Norton. So Andre Norton was a pretty prolific sci-fi writer. It turns out Andre Norton was a pen name.
For whom?
For Alice Mary Norton.
No.
Wrote under a male name because she kind of twigged to the fact, and this is sadly a stereotype and also true, that dudes mainly read the sci-fi.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Show over.
Stuck in the 80s is now on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com.
That's better trivia than I have written down for the rest of the show.
That's not trivial. That's fact.
No,
That's
I know,
good
but
stuff.
it's I'm not trivia doesn't mean it's false. I'm just saying it's critically important. I wouldn't call it trivia at all.
Yeah, anyway, so that's a fun fact. I think I've actually not read very much of her work, but I am familiar with her.
So commercially at the box office, this movie was a complete dud. It wasn't a complete dud, but let's just say it didn't
Like the cash register on fire?
It was no Beast, and nor was it a Master.
He is a freak who speaks to animals.
But it became a cult classic thanks to the cable networks. It had 2 sequels, a syndicated TV series, none of which I've seen. So start writing your email letter protests now.
You ready for the big moment of this show? It's not about Andre Norton.
Okay.
I had never seen this movie until I watched it for this podcast. I just
Really?
never saw it. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible because it's one of those movies, like you say, it was literally on 24 hours a day on some channel.
Dennis Miller once joked that HBO stands for, hey, Beastmaster's on.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how I avoided it, but I had never seen it. And you know what? I liked it. It's cheesy as all get out when you call it old cheese. It is a very well-aged piece of cheese.
Right.
But like I said a minute ago, 15-year-old Brad really appreciated this. This is like a D&D adventure.
You texted me a lot while you were watching it. In the first 10 minutes, you were pretty pissed off.
Yeah, and then I kind of, actually that's kind of like when I saw GoldenEye, the first 10 minutes of GoldenEye, where Pierce Brosnan like dives off a cliff on a motorcycle after a plane that's just tipped over it, and I'm like, what the actual is going on? There's no way that works. Like, that's just stupid. And then 20 minutes later, I'm cheering as he drives a tank through the streets of Russia with a freaking statue of a horse on top of it. That's absolutely ridiculous.
First of all,
it takes
stop.
me a little while to settle into it.
Stop right there. The first 10 minutes of GoldenEye are amazing, and it's the whole. I want
I
to reach through the
understand
phone
that
and
now.
strangle you.
No, you'll forgive
I
me.
get
it
it.
just takes me a while to warm up to it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm back in control. I'm Beastmaster mode turned off.
Actually, one more thing about that James Bond movie. I said loudly in the theater as he climbs into the cockpit, "Give me a break." But then I settled in and I enjoyed that movie. I'd watch it now if it was on. Anyway, back to the Beastmaster.
By the end of the movie, you were texting me like these glorious prose extolling its virtues.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is to be celebrated. I'm not saying it's a good movie, but it is to be celebrated. It has a certain there's something to it. I can't quite put my finger on it.
The sword and sorcery genre is a complicated genre. Let's put it that way. I mean, it has to toe a line between like a wink and a nod. It can't be completely serious.
Yeah, it has to go over the top.
Right.
And if it's over the top that your ferrets save you from weird quicksand by being an ounce heavy enough to bend a branch enough for you to reach it, then hey, cool.
Isn't it cool though that, let's face it, back then we were worried about 2 things in life, Bigfoot and quicksand.
It's true. You're absolutely right.
We didn't have Bigfoot in this movie, but we have
quicksand.
Yeah.
So, they trot out the tropes. It's good. You got the woman in the bikini for no apparent reason.
Right.
Sunburn. We don't worry about sunburn in ancient times.
No.
They still had the big ozone layer. I guess that was it.
That's probably it.
You've got some really weird bat people.
Birdmen.
Birdmen. Deus Ex Machina, or however you say that at the end. They save the day. But you're like, okay, yeah, it's Chekhov's Birdman. If you see Birdman in the first act, he better show up at the end.
Yeah, and he does. By the way, that scene still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's creepy.
I'm trying to think when I saw this for the first time. It must have been. I'm 99% sure I did not see this in the theaters.
Well, I can tell you I didn't, but we've already established that.
It would have been on HBO, and I'm sure I saw it early 80s. I would have loved it because there was needless nudity. I didn't know at that time that Rip Torn would end up being a comedian, not an evil wizard priest.
Not Maax.
Maax. And Mark Singer, who plays Dar, That same year, he came out with a movie called If You Can See What I Hear. Did you ever see that movie?
I remember it. I don't think I ever saw it.
It's pretty great for a 15-year-old or whatever age we were at
Sure.
that point.
Yeah. No, I get it. Know your audience.
He plays like this blind musician who's basically a Lothario. Drives drunk in his car with his best friend, basically telling him, turn left, turn right, hit the brakes. Picks up women every night at the bar. It's another cable movie, that you see 1,000 times. You also probably also kind of worship Mark Singer. He was in Dallas. He was in V.
Yeah, he had a pretty good thing going there.
He was on a roll there. He did reprise.
Absolutely.
He did come back and play Dar in 1991 for Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time.
Oh.
Which I didn't see as much.
Where does he go? Does he go to the future? The future.
City on the Edge of Forever.
That'd be a crossover and a half.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know. I know you don't watch Star Trek Discovery, but I have to just say, there's an episode that is a throwback to City on the Edge of Forever. Just so
really nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
And you don't know it till the very end when he says, "I am the Guardian."
Then the scales fall from your eyes, and you realize the awesomeness that has been presented to you.
Yes. Anyway, I did not see Through the Portal of Time because as much as I love fans of Stuck in the 80s, I just can't.
There are limits. There are limits.
Tanya Roberts, as we said, plays the slave girl Kiri. Probably best known for, as Brad would probably know, playing A View to a Kill, the Bond girl.
Yeah, she's a Bond girl in that.
She got that job based on this movie.
Oh, yeah? Gee, I wonder which scene.
That scene also landed her about 1 billion other roles in the genre we like to call erotic thrillers.
Oh, gosh. Cinemax After Dark.
I feel dark just saying that.
Oh, well, you can't feel as bad as I did screening Last American Virgin for our Patreon.
Oh, that's right.
I guess it was just last week. Oh, my gosh. It's uncomfortable to watch it, but to actually host it and show it to other people, I'm delivering this to you, so some of the shame sticks to me when they... Oh, gosh.
You need to explain to people what this is.
So I started the virtual drive-in on the Patreon group, and we've done this once. It worked pretty well. I take a movie that, in this case, it was Last American Virgin, and the reason I did it was because it wasn't available streaming anyplace, so even if you wanted to watch it, it's kind of hard to find. So I got a copy, I ripped it, and I shared it over Zoom. Please don't call the studio and tell them I did that. But it worked pretty well. Everyone seemed to have a pretty good experience. And, if you've ever been to a drive-in theater and you're listening to this podcast, it's likely that you have. The picture isn't always super great. And sometimes the audio is coming out of a little tin can the size of, your Apple Watch or whatever you're wearing now. And so maybe it doesn't sound great. Maybe it doesn't look great. It's just kind of part of the experience. We had a really good time. We watched it and there was chat going in the sidebar. It was good.
It was open only to our patrons.
Right.
And you even showed previews.
I did. I picked some previews from... actually, I showed the Beastmaster trailer because Beastmaster was I tried to pick movies that were going to be out in the couple of months after Last American Virgin was released. So I think I did Beastmaster, My Favorite Year, which now I really want to watch again.
It's so good.
Creep Show... And I forget what the other one was. But anyway, it was fun. And then just to get everyone in the mood, I played the old HBO intro, the fly-through.
I really appreciated that, by the way.
Excellent. So we'll do that again. That was fun. That's something we're doing for the Patreon group that is a little value add. If you will.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, continuing about the cast, John Amos plays Seth, which is an odd name for that time period.
I thought that too. I'm like, they call me Bob.
I love Johnny Amos. Pick a decade, and I can name something he was in. Coming to America, Die Hard 2, Good Times, The West Wing.
Yeah, he was the guy that he pops up, and I'm like, wait a minute. What's this guy doing in this movie? You're too good for this. But he plays it straight. He's serious. Everyone plays it pretty straight, which I think is why it works. There's not a lot of nod wink to the camera.
Face the animal on his own terms.
Find you are not so very strong.
The actor who plays young Dar is Billy Jane. We'll call him William Jane now because he's probably our age.
He's all grown up.
He played the brother Buddy in the movie Just One of the Guys, who has the line, all balls itch,
He also played Mikey Randall in my favorite 90s television series, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, also known as the best version of Ferris Bueller on television.
He's had pretty solid work.
Yeah.
Here's the oddball pick. Rip Torn plays the evil wizard priest Max, with two A's, Max.
Max.
And God, what has he not been in? His career lasted like 60 years. It started in the 50s. And I think I first saw him on the Larry Sanders Show.
Yeah.
And the movie Defending Your Life.
I always think of him now as Patches O'Houlihan from Dodgeball.
That was a good one.
If you could dodge a witch, you could dodge a wrench, and you could dodge a ball. Rah! His parents wanted to make sure that there was no way he was ever going to be able to find a license plate with his name on it at the medieval amusement parks. Speaking of dodgeball, one of the things that I did a couple weeks ago was I actually played dodgeball at a work event. We had like this big LA office-wide dodgeball tournament. Yeah. We went out about as fast as the average Joes did against those Girl Scouts.
Oh, no.
It was fun. It was
that
fun.
Bad?
Yeah,
I don't want anybody hit me with a rubber ball at my age.
The kids these days are a little more motivated than I was. Well, we didn't use the playground balls. Like, I was expecting the red playground balls. There were these little, like, you could easily palm it, kind of soft, squishy balls. So you couldn't throw them that hard.
Oh.
It's like trying to throw a wiffle ball really hard. But still, we failed.
Oh, no, not you. Why me? I'm a coward. Couldn't you just fly back and tell him you couldn't find me?
This is a weird movie. There's not a lot of trivia associated with it. Among the only gems I could find, Demi Moore auditioned for the part of Kiri, and that would have been fine by me.
Yeah, I'm sure she could have delivered those lines with the requisite sincerity.
With that that smoky voice of hers.
Yeah.
Kodo and Podo, the ferrets. It took 25 ferrets.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
No, to play those two parts.
Oh my gosh.
Because they can't be trained.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I had a friend here in California that had ferrets, and I don't know if they still are, but they were illegal to have them as pets.
In certain states, and I think California is one of them.
And he was always like, if you said the word ferret around him, you get 10 minutes on,
I
don't understand it. They're wonderful. Like, people think they're going to go feral, but they're too stupid. It's like,
you have to descent them, don't you? You have to take out their scent glands.
I have no idea. This is what things I don't want to know for $100.
Yeah,
please.
no, I think some guy in my fraternity had one, and I think you had to descent them.
Did he call it Kodo or Podo?
Would have been out by then. I'm surprised we didn't. I don't think we made the connection. The tiger, by the way, the black tiger is actually, it was supposed to be a panther, but panthers allegedly are skittish. And
especially
can't be
around big swords.
Yeah. So they dyed a tiger black.
Yeah, you could tell something was up with that.
Well, look around his mouth. You could see that it had worn off every time he took a drink of water.
But once again, if you're in for the, as Steve Spears says, buy the ticket, take the ride.
Yeah.
Like once Brad got past his anger and just decided to soak in it, in the Stuck in the 80s hot tub with the ferrets, then I was like, this is great. Yeah, of course that's Tiger with stripes. I don't care. That man also can't talk to him. I've decided that was okay, but I got problems with fake stripes. Come on.
The reception of the movie was, shall we say, mixed?
Muted.
Like the drink I'm having at the moment. Gene Siskel, Chicago Tribune, gave it 2 stars, said it isn't bad as much as it is overlong, which I will agree with. It's a little too long. The New York Times thought the film was, quote, neither better nor worse than Conan the Barbarian and looks both big and cheap.
Okay, I want to talk about that more later, but if you are making it cheap and you can make it look big, good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care if you filmed this in the outer steppes of wherever, or if it looks big and you didn't spend too much money on it, that's amazing.
You know what else is big and cheap?
The seggies.
What's happening, hot stuff?
By the sound of the gong, it must be time for Mystery Movie Moment. Oh, it feels like I'm in a little red wagon rolling down a hill every time I say that. Mystery Movie Moment.
It's good times.
Speaking of John Amos, yeah, there you go. We will play a snippet of a movie from the 80s. That is the decade we are about. Boy, when I start explaining things, that's not a good thing. I'm just saying.
I like it.
You know what pisses me off when people say that, we're too critical of the 80s.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I know, like listeners, you can email me and tell me this. I do know it, but you can still tell me. I know we're not supposed to read the reviews. Like that's rule 1. Don't read the reviews. But I subscribe to a service that kind of gives us our weekly rankings and different Apple charts, which is usually in the low 400s or so. I mean, seriously, we're not, we're not exactly This American Life. I understand. But it will occasionally bubble through a review. We get a review a couple weeks ago. Some guy's like, oh, it's okay. At least they're not always screaming like some of those other podcasts, but they just don't seem to be passionate about it. I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, for 640 something episodes, we're just like, I don't care about this. You want to talk about it? I got nothing else to do. Okay, fine. Let's talk about this. I hate it. Even better. You know what, reviewer? Screw you. Say it to my face.
No, every once in a while we get somebody who says that we're a little negative. And I don't think they realize that 99% of our waking time, this is what we love doing. We love reliving the movies. We love reliving the music. Do we sometimes say that some of our boyhood fantasies don't age well? Yeah.
Yeah, because we're realists.
I'm 55 years old.
Anyway, all that is to say, if you're a longtime listener and you like it, if you're a new listener and you like it, throw us a review, throw us a rating. It helps. And then I don't get pissed about the one guy who gives us a 3-star review because we're, quote, not passionate about anything.
By the way, Brad never forwards these to me, so I'm assuming that it's all like Steve's an asshole.
No, I just figure why get you riled up like I'm riled up.
Because it does. It gets me like super pissed off. Anyway.
Yeah.
We will play a snippet of a 80s movie that we clearly don't give a shit about. But we've taken enough time to craft the quote to a point where we know that the majority of our listeners will recognize it. And if you guess right, you're entered into the drawing for the postal-friendly bottle opener, which Brad says he took a short holiday from sending out, but he is in the process of doing them now.
I'm all caught up. I
don't think there's anything in my life I'm caught up on right now except for my mortgage payments.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. We still get a house to stay in. By the way, we briefly pondered renaming our podcast. What was it?
Oh, the Podcaster's Upstairs. He's on the upstairs extension.
Because we're both podcasting from upstairs.
Yeah, after 17 years, it's probably time to rename it, right?
Anyway, yeah, because we just really hate the brand. So anyway.
We're not passionate about anything, Steve, let alone ourselves.
This is it. This can be a very violent drinking night, I can tell. God help anyone who I have in my call history. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, pay attention. This was the mystery clip from episode 638.
Thor. Sarah. Oh, Thor, mighty god of thunder.
Who is this kid?
Yes, that's, of course, Adventures in Babysitting, which I had just watched like the night before.
How's it hold up?
Really, really well. In fact,
nice.
I had thought, like I was sitting down thinking, well, I can remember like 2 funny moments. And I was surprised by how much of it really was still great, for lack of a better term, after I've had 2 drinks.
I mean, it's the Odyssey writ small.
It's just very, very small. Anyway, we had some winners. Brad's still typing them in, I see.
Well, I'm like, surely we had more winners than this, and I'm searching through my email, and yes, there are several more, so I'm adding them in. There might be a pause in the action here while I trim this, so as I can finish typing these quadrillion names in.
While he's doing that, let me just say that I think we watched it on the original VHS tape.
What? You still have a VHS player?
No, I don't, but the missus does. She has a combination.
Then you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I like to think that it's ours now.
Yeah.
She has a combination VHS DVD player. And now, the downside is it is old enough that it literally takes from the moment you turn it on to the moment you can use it about 10 minutes to warm up. Like, I could preset my oven to cook a pizza in less time. But that being said, but it still works. And we watched this movie on the original VHS tape.
I'm going to bet that's on Disney Plus right now.
Probably. I know they did a remake, which is pointless, but whatever. We enjoyed it. It was good. Elizabeth Shue. I mean, such a varied resume in the 80s. I'm just killing time while Brad still types names here, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm like...
I'm going to edit this all out. This is all going to be outtakes.
Really? Me saying all these interesting things?
I'll keep the interesting parts. I'm serious there. I'm like, this is weird. There should be more. And then I go to look. I'm like, yeah, there's like 40 names I didn't get in here.
You don't have to type them all in.
Yeah, I do. I owe it to the listeners because I'm passionate about it.
You should keep this part of it.
Maybe we will.
Allegedly, from what I remember, memory serves, which right now it's fading, most of Adventures in Babysitting, which is set in Chicago, was filmed in Vancouver.
Oh, no. Not one of those.
Yeah, it's only the downtown scenes.
Okay. Well, I get it.
That's why it's important sometimes to go back and watch these things again. Now, here's another example, because I'm still killing time because Brad is literally still typing these in. Rick in Kenosha, Brian with an E in Boulder.
Hey! Don't do my job, mister.
I convinced her to watch Streets of Fire.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we started watching that, and I got to admit, another situation where from the last time I saw it, and we did a podcast on that.
Yeah, I remember it.
I remember loving it then. And I remember watching it, but I also remember watching it like a week ago with the missus, and we were both like,
wow, gosh, I think I left some dryer in the painter or something.
How late is the gym open? Do you think I can still go get 30 minutes in on the elliptical? It doesn't age as well. Or there's a sudden age where it goes from like fresh to spoiled, like, chicken in the fridge.
Cross some line that you weren't aware of.
It was almost like it was a different edit or something. I just didn't like it.
Huh.
I cannot stall for more time. You're going to have to finish this up.
I'm finishing. I'm close. I don't know. My brain obviously snapped. My search skills have left. All that remains for me is to enjoy having oatmeal spooned into my maw while I sit drooling at the window.
Have you tried the overnight oats, by the way?
No.
It's like a big trend right now.
I'm not quite that desperate for food in the mornings yet.
It's just there's this new trend, and I keep trying to decide if I want to try it or not, where you make it the night before and you put it in the fridge and it soaks up the milk, and then you eat it the day of, like in your car on your way to work, which doesn't matter to me because I don't drive to work because I work from home. I really hope that if you don't keep this in the regular show that you make it a patron extra or something.
I think I got everybody.
Okay, here we go then. Brad's ready to read the winners of this week's Mystery Movie Moment.
Okay, folks. Everyone knows this one, apparently, and a lot of people wrote in about it. Here we go. This week's winners include Joe Bob Perdue, Mark Campbell, Hangry Jeremy, Kevin Pipe Wench, the legend Steve McGlame. Oh my gosh, the legend Steve McGlame. We haven't heard from you in forever. I thought maybe you were trapped under something heavy. I was going to send over the haggis truck to feed you. Becky the Rocker Pixie, Colin Hall, Alan Titus, Lee Graham, John Cluxton, Michelle in Lexington, Kevin in Denver, Brock in North Dakota, Chris Cooling, Heather Spawn, Gene in Hollister, Cincinnati Joe, Keano from Midmo, Alan B., Matt, who used to be in Oregon and is now in Tennessee, Alvin Wilson, Todd in Minnesota, Patrick Gypsy Juggler Thompson, John Demakis, Chris the 80s Queen in Massachusetts, Chad in Henderson, North Carolina. No, that's not correct. Chad in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Dave Parrott, Sherry rhymes with Starry, Shari rhymes with Starry, Eric Miller, Scott in Perry, Georgia, Mark Wilson stuck in Colfax, Illinois, Rick in Kenosha, Brian with an E in Boulder, Chad in Cali, Peter from Belton, Rhonda Presley, Carlos stuck in Pennsylvania, Steve Paulson, Dave's not here, Mike, you can rolla, Monica effing Minkle, Chuck Whaley, Gordon Shumway, Paul in South Dakota, and Plain Pulling Tom.
Plain Pulling Tom. That guy's got a hand grip, by the way.
I'm wrung out.
What's with Brian with an E? Why would...
it's just like Max's parents. His parents wanted him to not be able to find a license plate with his name on it.
Brian with an E. I have to wonder, was that an issue growing up? Like, were you upset when you went to like a theme park and you couldn't find your license plate with your name on it because it's unusual spelling? I mean, I feel your pain. Like, I mean, I go by Steve or Steven, but when I go by Steven, it's with a PH, and so nobody has a PH. Because
nobody does that. Yeah.
Anyway, pay attention. Here's this week's mystery movie clip.
2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits a peso. all for stand up and say so.
If you know it, email us at podcast@sits.com. I can't believe I don't write this down. And tune in next week to find out if you're a winner. Out of the mystical refrain that is, name that 80s tune. We will play a snippet of a song from the 80s. If you get it right, again, glory awaits you in the form of a metallic device that will not go through TSA, so you should put it in your checked luggage.
Actually, my son carries his in his wallet, and he says he goes through security with it all the time.
Well, then, son of a bitch.
I know. Must be that winning smile.
Yeah. He's a charming boy, and he does have a wonderful smile. Anyway, pay attention. Here's this week's mystical clip. That's Breakaway by Big Pig.
Like a child in his fantasy, punching holes in the walls of reality. All my life I wanted to fly, but I don't have the wings, and I wonder why I can't break away.
Okay, funny story here. The only reason this is in the show is because we watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, I thought it was just like an adventure tie-in.
Nope. We actually watched
and Babysitting, Bill and Ted's Big Adventure.
We try to watch an 80s movie each week that she's never seen before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you have a nomination, of course, you don't know what she's seen before or not, but I'm just going to say, you got a deep cut you want to suggest, email
I have
us.
ideas.
Not Zorro the Gay Blade.
Oh, it's good.
It's not. We have some winners, and they won't take you 10 minutes to read them.
I know, and I got these all my first pass through. I'm feeling pretty good about myself here. Here we go. Winners this week include Jeff and Chester, Chris Cooling, Gene and Hollister, Tommy Doucette in Boston. Boy, it's old timers week, and by which I mean people who've listened to a long time. Not that you're old, Tommy. Love ya. Phil from Adelaide, La Luna in San Diego, Dave De La Dirt, Alvin Wilson, Marlon from south of Fort Worth, Texas, Kevin Serving Wench, Richard the Big Bunny on an island in the San Francisco Bay, hoping that's not Alcatraz, Richard, Mike in Oz, Chris in Huntsville, Kevin in Chilliwack, oh gosh, I forgot.
Don't even start.
Kevin, Dave's not here, and Donnie Gettle, Rhymes with Club Remix, who writes, I first heard this song at a club called Chances in Stillwater, Oklahoma when I was at Oklahoma State University. This is the song that made me want to be a club DJ. Within a year, I was doing just that and still playing this track.
Huh.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Very well done. Let's spin the wheel. Let's find out who takes home the hardware.
Yeah, this thing's been sitting idle in my office for months. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah. Ooh, an angry spin is a good spin.
I agree.
That's what my dad taught me.
Long may it wave.
Looks like it's going to land on Richard the Big Bunny on an island in San Francisco Bay. Are there more than... Isn't Alameda an island in San Francisco Bay?
I don't know the names of them. I know there's Angel Island. I think that's kind of on the way in over on the Bay Bridge, maybe. Don't ask me San Francisco geography questions.
The only reason I know about Alameda, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Very nice.
Telling you, I'm auditioning for the other cruise. Pay attention. Here's this week's mystery clip. If you know it, email us at podcast@sit80s.com. Don't leave a comment on our official website because we won't read it for another month. And then tune in a few weeks. Maybe you'll get lucky. Until then, we take a pause for this commercial break.
The centipedes are coming. Get your fingers moving fast, and the spider's out to get you. Do you think that you can last? You can shoot him in the middle. He will only break in two. And the fleas are even faster if you look away you're through. See the scorpion a dancing? He can really help you score. But the centipede's immortal, keeps coming back for more. Centipede is from Atari and is faster than a jet. If you're looking for some action, it's the game you gotta get. Centipede!
Reach for Atari!
And we're back. We have time to just talk one more thing. How does Beastmaster rank with other sword and sorcery movies of the 80s? Go.
I'm going to put it pretty high, honestly. I'm going to put it pretty high. I think the natural comparison is to Conan the Barbarian because they both came out in 1982.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The thing about Conan versus Dar, Conan was an offensive lineman. and Dar ran cross country. So Conan's built like a fucking tank, but Dar can get into tight spots. Also, Dar has ferrets in his pocket, but that's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
So there are some differences that are born right of that. Like, look, he's just not he's fit. Don't get me wrong. The guy did not skip leg day, but he's not like I pushed this giant wheel in the desert from the time I was 10 years old until I was in my mid-teens, or however old Conan is when he gets sold to the guy.
The narrator makes a big difference with Conan.
Yeah.
I think that helps set it apart too. There's like a majestic quality to having a narrator.
And, also Dar is fighting Rip Torn. Conan is fighting James Earl Jones. I mean, he's fighting Darth Vader. Did we know that at that point? I'm not sure. I guess we knew he was Darth Vader.
I don't think we would have put the 2 and 2 together.
Well, but it's just the voice and the presence. You killed one of my pets.
Here's the other sword movies that I would put above Beastmaster. I would put Kroll above it. I'd put Highlander above it.
Different. It's different. I know you're going to say that it's got sword and sorcery in it, but I think Highlander is more. I think Highlander's more sci-fi.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, it's fine. We can differ as long as we're not passionate about it. We can differ.
Does Excalibur rise? I would say Excalibur is a little different too, because it's a little bit more based on.
It's not as original a story, maybe.
Yeah,
it's kind of weak sauce, because then we have to throw out Clash of the Titans too.
I would put Beastmaster above Dragon Slayer. I'd put it above Clash of the Titans. I'd put it above Lady Hawk.
You take that back.
Lady Hawk, if it had a better score, that's the weak link.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's not a great score, and the score kind of takes you out of it. But I love that movie. Maybe I need to watch it again.
I'd put it above Legend. I put it above Red Sonja.
Yeah, it's definitely above Red Sonja.
I put it above Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
So there you go. Do you disagree or agree with us?
Yeah, let us know. I mean, I know how shy and reserved our listeners are. They never email us at podcast@sit80s.com.
In the meantime, keep your Kodo and your Podo to yourself, as Brad and I remain here, hopelessly stuck in the 80s.
Stuck in the 80s is now on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/stuckintheeighties podcast. Special thanks to Check Battery Daily for our theme music, and thanks for listening.